Pisces, how are you all doing? I hope that you're doing amazing. Welcome to this reading. This is a general reading. Take it as it resonates, and it is focusing on the month of December. Can you believe it? Last month of 2022. This has been an incredibly challenging year, and I think for you specifically, Pisces, it must have been such a hard year because you feel everybody's energy. A lot of people speak about being empaths, and a lot of people are empaths. I'm an empath, but it is, I think a lot of times, I'm a Cancerian. I think a lot of times people say that feeling the energy is hardest for Cancer, but I think from all the water signs, Scorpio and Pisces has hit the hardest, especially Pisces, because Scorpio's got a little bit of a gangster vibe about them. They're like a natural little bit of like, you mess with them like a bow and archer. I'm gonna pull this. You want to mess with me? You want a piece of me? That sort of thing. That can be Scorpio a little bit, not necessarily always. Also depends on where you have Scorpio in your chart. My Scorpio is actually, or rather my Mars is like with Scorpio. So, don't really want to get into a fight with me because I would Scorpio you, but for you, Pisces, what makes it harder for you is that I once heard this description, and for those of you that are following my channel, you would have heard me say this before, but I thought it was so appropriate that it was saying, I think it was a blog on astrology if I remember correctly, it was like Pisces will walk in the one end of the shopping mall, being all happy and jolly and cheery, and then they walk out the other door and they completely, bawling their eyes out from all the emotions that they picked up. So, as always, Pisces, it's incredibly important for you to proactively, more than others, proactively protect your energy, and especially with a period like December, because yes, there's a lot of happiness happening in the world, and you may want to very consciously open yourself to picking up on those happy vibes. I celebrate everything because for me, what's important to someone else is important to me. So whether it's my my Christian amigos or my Muslim amigos or my Jewish amigos or my spiritual amigos or my Rasta amigos or my shaman vibes or whoever they are, the witches or whatever they celebrate. For me, it is about it's like the first Buddhist principle that really resonates with me. And you might consider it might be for you as well. I'm not saying that it should be, but it's that, it falls in line with first do no harm. It's about me doing what works for me, what feeds my soul, what resonates with me, what makes me happy, what gets me to that point of Zen. That is what OSHO and taurus quite a bit about, and as long as it doesn't hurt another, and I'm not talking about having opinions, I'm doing this so you should be doing that sort of thing, but that is your goal, Pisces, in this world. You just wish for everybody to be happy. But something important to remember is that you are inclusive of everybody. It's important to remember that. With practically 8 billion people in the world, that means that almost a full billion of people in this world are most likely Pisces. It's important for those people to be happy because you form part of the allness. Let's get into your message, Pisces. So we're going to see what is it, it doesn't really matter what brought you here today, Pisces, whether it's love, happiness, career, marriage, wealth, whatever, it's all your energy. Your energy determines where you go and what you experience. So we're going to see what your soul has to say, but we're going to start off with an oracle message first, and then we're going to see what is going to benefit you. What do you want to focus on? Okay, what is going to work for you? It says passion and pleasure, savor your life. Savor your life. That is basically the whole thing that I was going on about yapping in the beginning, And if you come across something that really resonates with your Pisces, I wanna strongly encourage you to place your hand on your heart, to take a nice deep breath and say yes to it. Say yes, I accept that for myself, because the universe manifests, gives us, unfolds flowers, expands based on what we feed it. It's like your body. What you put into your body is how it looks on the outside and determines the experience of life that you have. Boom. You know? Yes, there might be some pre-existing conditions and stuff like that, but let's not split hairs now. Okay? Alright, let's see what we've got in OSHO. And if any of you are interested in learning to read the tarot, I've got some links for my courses down below in the description. They're on promotion at the moment. First couple of lessons are free, and there's a free oracle card reading course as well. So do check that out if you are interested. From OSHO Zen Tarot, you've got intensity. This is reminding you of the power that you have, my beautiful, beautiful Pisces, when you are fully present within the moment. This is what this is talking about, intensity. It is letting you know that, or it's reminding you rather, that divine timing, same as right and wrong, it is subjective things. Divine timing is when you are in balance. Everything is always possible. There's nothing new. Do yourself a massive favor, don't try to reinvent the wheel. There's nothing new. Everything just is. There's rediscovery, you know? And I always think it's so amazing that as we say, we enlighten and we unfold and whatever, what we're really doing is we are studying ancient practices. When you really think about it, you know? So be present in the moment. Don't try to chase anything. Let life come to you. Be present in the moment. Find your 0 point energy. 0 point energy, for those of you that might not know, the 0 point energy is when the universe is at 0 degrees, based technically speaking. Like there's a lot of conversation around that. But so the universe itself is a living entity. It's alive, you know. And so when you are born, you take that first breath of air, you are energetically connecting with the energy of the universe that is currently happening. And so when you, for example, look at things like astrology charts, every 4 minutes they change. That is why it's important for you to know if you have an astrology or numerology or a human design reading, which is sort of like a combination of the two, but it's really amazing. Sorry. The date that you were born, where you were born, and the time that you were born. If you don't know the date and the time, well, if you know the date, that's great. But if you don't know the time and the place, don't guess. And there's actually a link in the description that says free natal chart. Go check it out, look at your placements. It can really, really, really help you, especially when you've got an energy like yours that is so easily sort of rattled. It's to your benefit to understand what's happening in your chart. Okay? But so 0 point energy is basically that moment where you connect with the universe, and that is the perfect moment for you, because every moment is technically perfect. So when you are in that space where you know, you are standing in your power and your strength, everything is possible for you. All right, there are no limitations. The only limitation is you. But you know, and one of the biggest limitations, obviously, in this life is the fact that we forget everything in order to have the experience. So I want to also encourage you, my beautiful, beautiful Pisces, and I want to remind you that there's an instinct inside of you that will guide you in the right direction. Your emotions is a superpower. It's not weakness, it's strength, because it taps into the language that surpasses all understanding of words. Words are just, it's dialect, it's like sounds, it's like vowels, you know. Because think about it, I'm speaking English and you're speaking English, if you're looking at this most likely, but my accent might be completely different to yours, you know. I remember I used to work for an Australian company once, and I had to take calls over the phone, and I had a lot of difficulty understanding them, and they had a lot of difficulty understanding me, but we were both speaking English, you know what I'm saying? So words are not the most powerful thing to go by, but emotions don't lie, energy doesn't lie. And energy, I think energy, the closest thing that you can almost describe it as when it comes to communication, or the communication capacity specifically, it's that it's almost like sign language. If you can learn sign language and you are able to communicate fluently in it, you can communicate to any person in the world that understands sign language as well, irrespective of what their home language is or their mother tongue is. You know, so that's actually quite amazing, don't you think? So we sorry, we're living in a world where emotions are becoming more important than they were before. They're no longer seen as these wishy-washy things. So I feel that for you, Pisces, and I get a very positive sense around your feeling from the very beginning, things are definitely looking up in a very positive direction for you. Let's see what we have in Thought Tarot for you, because it's almost like what was your, like, sort of like, you know, the thing that was like sort of like your crutch before, that is becoming your strength now, and people are seeking out the natural ability that you have, because you are that natural psychic, basically, you know, because you're so attuned. And then from Thought Tarot, you've got the Seven of Disc, failure. Sorry. Now, you know, sometimes when you get something like this card you go like, oh my goodness, he said to me all these good things, and look at where he's going now. Like, dude, I thought you on my side. I thought this reading's on my side. These are not failures that are holding you back. This is a reminder for you, my beautiful Pisces, that you have made a lot of mistakes in this life, and Pisces typically do make a lot of mistakes in this life because your operating system is different to the rest of the world. Like, totally different. You're like an alien on this planet, basically. And what does an alien do, or what does any living organism really do when it goes to an environment? Well, everybody except for humans in many ways, even though at a subconscious level we do that as well. We are much more geared towards survival than we realize, and that is something that the pandemic and stuff like that actually pointed out to us. People would say, like, I don't care about my life, fuck this, I don't care, I'm out of here. Until the threat of dying becomes very real. Oh, Baba, does reality kick in? You know? So this is reminding you that you may have made a lot of perceived mistakes in this world, because it took you probably longer to acclimatize to it than for other people. But now, once you acclimatize, it's almost like the world is now acclimatizing, and you are sort of like naturally the answers that they seek. So, if any of you are open to going, you know, in a psychic direction, it doesn't even have to be psychic. You can become a psychologist, a counselor, a teacher, a medical practitioner. I mean, it's a done deal. Nobody need to talk about. Pisces make the best medical practitioners. They really, really do, because they've got that compassion. They can feel that you don't have to tell them how you are. They don't have to look at your charts, even though obviously I would recommend that you do, you know, if you're in that position. But they can sense how you're doing. They've got a sense of what it is that you need, past just sort of like, you know, medicine. And, but I do see some of you kind of like doing the tap-tappy thing, you know, like you do on your knee. Let me show you what I'm talking about, even though I don't obviously have that. But so, you know, like when they test your reflexes and you go to the doctor, and so you got your leg up, and they sort of use something to, like, you know, test your reflexes type of things. I see some of you doing that. So I don't know what that is about. Maybe it's kinesiology, for example. It could possibly be that. Maybe that's the direction that you need to be going in, because it's also about muscle testing and body testing, and the body doesn't lie. All right. So in that way, you might be able to help people establish what is within them. You know, even if you, a very good book for you to read, for example, will be the Emotion Code, and it explains how emotions are trapped in the body. Okay. So there's more than one way to do things. Okay. Living a spiritual life or being a spiritual practitioner doesn't mean that you have to be, you know, doing the moon dances and the whatever celebrations. And as I always say, I would prefer an enlightened person to be my mechanic, as opposed to somebody that says, oh, screw this, bro. You know? Sorry. Somebody that's going to do the right thing. And so whichever direction you are drawn to go into, whether that is mechanic, baking, whatever, and I feel a lot of, let me just get the right word. I feel a lot of practical application when it comes to stuff. The things that you probably don't need to go to university for, you know? The things that you probably don't need to have ace mathematics for. I feel you're going in that direction. It's more, it's about a physical expression of the inner, that sort of thing. So it's a more artistic sort of thing. So maybe you become like a person who does decorative functions, or flowers, or landscaping, or, you know, building fish tanks, or, you know, create awareness about keeping birds trapped in cages and that sort of thing, you know. You got the Four of Pentacles, Judgment, and the Page of Pentacles. So this is a space of, first of all, balance in the physical, in the materialistic, money and the things that money can buy. If you like that, claim that for yourself. I feel that for many of you, you're either too much in the heart or too much in the head. And it's about balance, because the universe is dual. And that is one of the things that can happen for you sometimes, Pisces. Until you learn to recognize it, and then, you know, you have your options around it. Release and let go. False prophets, bye-bye. You know, there is people that are not seeing your value, people that are not seeing your worth, people that are speaking behind your back, all those type of things. If you know they're coming this way, and you know it's going to upset you, go that way, you know. But don't run away though either. Okay? I feel that for some of you it's time to face the music. And if they're messing with you, don't, you know, here's the thing I always say to people about a bully. A bully will only bully people that can be bullied. You can only really at the deeper level allow that yourself, because 95%, up to 99% of all communication happens on a subconscious level. And you can get a bully that's like the smallest, tiniest, scrawniest little thing, you know, who's like the terror of the playground, who's bullying this big, macho, strong, older person, because it's about what happens on a deeper level. All right? So if it's time to face the music, it's time to face the music. And if it's time to punch somebody, like, listen, if you speak and speak and speak, and somebody had this conversation with me the other day, they were like, you know, it's about love and light, and I shouldn't do it. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Let me stop you right there. You have a responsibility towards this body, this life, your sanity, your peace of mind, your peace of emotions and mental state, you know, your life, your experience of life. If you don't take care of your life, nobody's going to do it for you. I can tell you now already, no free handouts are going to happen. Okay, no free handouts. So for some of you, and I see that you're ready for that. If they're not on your side, they're not on your side. Don't need to hate them, don't need to trip on them, but if they're not on your side, they're not on your side. Okay. A lot of times you want to keep the peace, and I am in full support of keeping the peace, but not at the sake of myself. 10 of Pentacles, the Sun energy, and the 4 of Swords. You're moving into your strength. Things are about to work out for you. Some of you felt held back by the emotions, my Pisces. Things are about to look up for you in a big, major, fantastic way. Let's see. Whoa! Yes! Hoo-hoo! Do-do, 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 do-do. Yay! So, sorry, Bruno. Sorry, my Baba. Did I scare you? Give you a fright? Or you just want some fresh air? It's giving me the nasty look, like the stinky eye. Ace of Pentacles, King of Swords, and the 8 of Pentacles for that failure card. So the mistakes, quote unquote, that you made in the past, it's opening the door for prosperity, because, as I always say, you know how people get wise? They have the situation, they learn the lesson, they remember the lesson. They don't hold on information, you know? They share, they give. But it's, and this is, I used to be, listen, when I say I used to be a people's pleaser, I mean, I could give you the fucking doctorate in being a people's pleaser, because I had no confidence. Which means I didn't love myself. I always said I'd love to be happy, I just don't know how. Everybody was yapping about, if you're happy, your life will be great. So I'd love to be happy. That will be so amazing. Just don't know how. And so some of you needed to learn those lessons, and now you know the lesson, and it's time for you to, I feel, really put that into practice. So not just practicing what you preach, but there are people that need the knowledge that you have. and they are willing to pay for it. So that could be the next step for you. That could be a business for you. That could be, you know, you may have felt the need to sort of withdraw yourself, and maybe you still need to have the need for personal time, and that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But for any of you that have been thinking about doing something new, going in a amazing new direction, the time is now. The time is now. Okay? I see it being very successful. We only have so much life on this planet. Go for gold. You can just as well enjoy it. Do your best to do it, okay? So that's what I have, beautiful Pisces. I hope that it helps. If it resonates, I'd really appreciate you liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. See you next time. Bye.